Hello and welcome to Super Over Decoded, powered by IDFC FIRST Bank. Well, this is the decider. The series locked at 1-1, and for the third, we are going to Lords. So Lords was the venue for the third and the decider. Looking at Lords, generally Lords has been a high-scoring venue. Last two ODIs played at Lords, the scores were 300 plus. So it was always going to be high-scoring. The other important thing about Lords is the fact that last 5 out of 5 games in the ODIs have been won by teams batting first, right? It's basically a bat first, because what happens is the pitch is generally on the dry side. It is actually a good batting pitch, but it does tend to get a little slower. And with the new ODI rules, where you start off with 2 new balls from two ends, but from the 34th, in fact the 35th over onwards, the bowling team chooses one of those 2 balls. So the second half or the last bit of the innings, you're only bowling with 1 ball, and which is old, right? So it gets a little difficult to score as many runs in the last few overs. One is that. Secondly, obviously, the rule of the third power play, which is from the 41st over onwards, you're allowed 1 extra fielder outside. So a total of 5 fielders outside the 30-yard circle. Now, as far as the Indian team is concerned, obviously there's a lot of noise about Rohit after the Cardiff game, after the second game, whether he's going to retire or he's getting dropped or whatever. So prelude to this ODI, I think there was a lot of noise, negative energy around that team. I'm not too sure what was happening inside, because from the inside, nobody said anything. There was nothing from the coach, there was nothing from the selector, there was nothing from the captain. But I guess in the end, the secretary of the board had to come out and give a statement, which is the only official version, which is absolutely fine, because there was a lot of speculation and rumors. Now, that wasn't the positive bit. Obviously, it does not help any team with all that noise around them. Now, the other important thing was the playing 11. The morning of the game, and I was there and I saw Jasprit Bumrah bowling, and I was a little surprised. Why is Jasprit warming up this early? Generally you do it 45 minutes to 60 minutes before, and this is, I'm talking about an hour and a half before the game. And obviously I was there covering the game, and then I realized that was more of a fitness test. He had a little bit of a niggle in the knee, and that's the reason Jasprit couldn't play that game. That would be obviously a forced change. And when I looked at the team that India decided, I was a little surprised. It was kind of one-dimensional, which we'll talk about. So India went in with 4 seamers: Arshdeep, Prasidh Krishna, Gurnoor and Prince Yadav, and only 1 spinner in Akshar Patel. And the change in combination, 5 bowlers and batting till number 7, which is Akshar. Generally till now, we've been talking about how India wanted, or Indian management wanted, batting till number 8. And Akshar batting at number 8, or someone like Akshar, maybe Washington, whoever, in the past games. But this was a change. Surprised not to see Kuldeep even with this combination, because generally when you're talking about number 8, batting till number 8, you can understand. But when you have batting till number 7, there is no reason, at least for me, and especially on that pitch, which I saw was on the drier side and a good batting surface, I thought it would provide a little bit of variation, and Kuldeep's class will shine through, are required by India. But anyways, so that was the team, that was the combination India went with. Only 1 change for England. Josh Tang came in place of Saqib. And most importantly, England won the toss and they decided to bat first. Like I said, this is a bat first venue. Last all 5 games won by teams batting first. Now, before we move on, let's talk about something very important. Because sometimes the game isn't won with 1 big over. It's won by building pressure. Dot ball, another dot ball, a tight over. Slowly, the required rate climbs. The scoreboard changes even when nothing dramatic happens. Savings works in a similar way. Growth doesn't always come in 1 big jump. It builds quietly. With an IDFC FIRST Bank savings account, you earn monthly interest credits, not quarterly. That means your interest is added every month, allowing compounding to begin sooner. Month after month, the growth builds. And over time, that steady build creates real impact. obviously it's a bit of an advantage batting first on a good batting pitch, and it was kind of hot as well, so you only knew that this surface will get a little slower as it gets drier under that hot sun, even though it was kind of breezy. But anyways, started off really well England with Jacob Bethel and Ben Duckett. In fact, very well, so much so that they got a record partnership for England in ODI cricket for any wicket. They had a 192-run partnership, Jacob Bethel and Ben Duckett. And to be fair, Indian bowling looked quite average. One is average, the other thing is, because there was no variety, it looked very one-dimensional. Now, Arshdeep is the only variation, being a left-arm seamer. I can understand Lords, if you look at numbers, left-arm seamers have done better than right-arm seamers, but the other three, whether it's Gurnoor, whether it's Prasidh Krishna, or whether it's Prince Yadav, they're very one-dimensional, very similar. Maybe pace-wise, they vary 3-4 kilometers here and there, but hit the deck, doesn't really swing that much, but hit the deck, back of length bowlers. So it looked that way, and obviously that was an advantage for England also on a good batting surface. They went on to get a, like I said, 192-run partnership in 31 overs. So that was like a bit of a painful watch, to be fair, because they looked extremely comfortable and it was kind of flawless. There weren't opportunities. It's not that India missed chances and all of that. Bowling was all right, but like I said, very one-dimensional. And what happens is, if you're a batter, if it's one-dimensional, one is there is no variety. The other thing is you get very comfortable. It does not matter if you make bowling changes or not, because everyone's almost the same. As a batter, you don't have to change anything. The bat speed, the bat swing, it just remains the same, or the lengths. So whether it's Prince bowling or Gurnoor bowling or Prasidh, you're set. It does not, as a batter, you don't have to change much. But then, it was a very, very good partnership. Like I said, almost flawless 192-run partnership. And then in the 31st over, when the wicket fell, I thought maybe, time for maybe someone like Harry Brook to come in place of Joe Root, who generally bats at 3, because I thought maybe they're going to try and get to 400 or something from that position, which is very, very doable. But then Joe Root came, and Joe Root being Joe Root, he showed his class once again. I thought maybe Harry Brook would come and up the ante and make some quick runs. But Joe Root remained not out once again. So he has been unbeaten in his last 4 ODIs. So the last one against Sri Lanka, and right through this series of 3 games, he's been unbeaten. And in this game, he went for 70. He got 74 of 48. So that's quite quick as well. And normal cricketing shots, yes, he played a few, those reverse laps, which we've seen him play during test matches as well. But that was, again, I thought with the wicket of maybe, Bethel, that might kind of give a little bit of hope, and India can crawl back into the game. Because on this pitch, I thought 330, 340 was chaseable. There was such a wonderful pitch, not the biggest of grounds. But then having said that, Joe Root came and played the way he did. In fact, Harry Brook came and he kind of struggled, because with the older ball, like I said, after 35, you use one ball. In fact, he seemed to struggle a little bit. But then he didn't last for long. The crucial innings for me, and an important innings, was Joss Butler's 41 not out of just 13 deliveries. And that was, I think, the key between what I said was 340 was chaseable to 387 that England got in their quota of 50 overs. Like I said, I thought it was good 40-50 runs extra as far as India is concerned, and why we'll talk about it a little later. But then that was a really good innings. Kind of the whole batting innings could be like near flawless that England got. That's the reason England got 387. Well, 388, you can imagine, this would have been the second highest run chase in ODI cricket, obviously the highest being 434 by South Africa against Australia. But then doable was 340, 350, but 388 was, and also I think it seemed like there was pressure around Rohit with all the noise that we've mentioned. So India needed a good start, which India got actually. Rohit was again brilliant. It was more of a vintage Rohit Sharma kind of an innings, where in the last game, in our last video, we did mention, or rather I said, it felt like there was a little lack of clarity in Rohit's batting. It wasn't the case. It was vintage Rohit Sharma innings, where he exactly knew what was expected of him and how he wanted to go about getting it, along with Shubman, who obviously is in superb form. But then, they got a partnership of 147, so it's a really good start. And 147 in 24 overs. That's keeping up with the required run rate as well. So 147, and then it's not like India weren't looking good. They were looking really good to chase this down, which was going to be the second highest run chase. But then Shubman Gill, again, like the previous game on 80, he got out in the previous game. But here again, he started feeling that cramp in his hamstring, and that has been happening quite frequently. And that's a bit of a concern, because he felt the same thing in this innings as well, in the hamstring, and then he started playing some shots, because obviously that hamstring injury kind of stopped him from running fast or running singles and twos. And he got out on 77, and the last bit of his innings was a bit of a struggle for him, like I said, because he couldn't run, so he was forced to play those big shots. And in 24 overs, India were 147 for 1. Now, after that, Virat came in, and again, Virat just kept going and batting the way he has been batting, which is quite fluently. But then there was a phase in between where Sam Curran came in, and Jacob Bethel, the left-arm spinner, came into bowl. And what they did beautifully, because by now it has already been 75 odd overs been played on that surface. In fact more, around 80 overs played on that pitch. So it really got very, very slow. And the smart thing that Sam Curran and Jacob Bethel did was bowl even slower. So Sam Curran bowled at around 118, 120 kilometers, while he does generally bowl at 128, 130. Started bowling a lot of these slower deliveries. So he did not give any pace. His quicker deliveries were 118, 120. So that made the batters struggle quite a bit to play those shots. And this phase, so Sam Curran from bowling from one end, and then from the other end, Jacob Bethel, who was bowling at 77, 78 kilometers. Again, the same thing, no pace at all. So, Rohit was obviously struggling, but I think more than Rohit, it was Virat in that phase struggled quite a bit. I think there was a phase where he picked up only 2 runs in 10 deliveries or something, quite a few dot balls. So the pressure was building, and then Rohit again got cramps. And then he started playing some shots, and obviously he struggled to run, and that does not help Virat, because his game is based around singles and twos and based around running. And that was the phase where India kind of lost a bit of that momentum. But in the end, Rohit got out, brilliant 100, 138, and what a knock. Like I said, it was a vintage Rohit Sharma. He's one of the best I've seen him bat in the recent past, maybe last year or so. And it was required in terms of just quieting all this noise that was going around, which I thought was very, very unfair. But also the fact that it would give him a lot of confidence, going back to the last video where I said that clarity of thought. I think an innings like this, a fluent, well compiled, under pressure, that's what I think he was. That 100 was a superb one, and came at a good time. 118 deliveries for 138. That wicket, obviously, was struggling with his hamstring as well. So he goes out, and it was good to see Ishan Kishan coming out, the left-hander, because usually you would, at number 4, it would be Shreyas. But when he came out, I was quite happy. I was like, yeah, now somebody can take Jacob Bethel on, and if Ishan can play one of his T20 kind of an innings, which India needed at that point in time, it would be nice. And India was in the hunt. India needed around 9 runs and over or something like that, which is very, very doable with wickets in hand. But then he came and he struggled as well, and he got out to Sam Curran trying to hit a big shot. And then from there on, from that spell, that moment on, India just went off the hook a little. I mean, started slowing down. I thought a lot of credit to the English bowlers, how they came and bowled on this pitch, exactly how you would expect. I think the game plan was spot on, the execution from the English bowlers was spot on, and it just made things very, very difficult. So from that Rohit Sharma wicket, it was kind of went downhill for India. But in the end, India still managed to get 360. And going back to what I said, I said this on air as well. I thought 340, 350 was chaseable. In the end, India get to 360 and lose by 27, and also lose the series 2-1 to England. Well, turning point, there are a couple of them. You can always argue that wicket of Rohit and that phase in the middle that I spoke about earlier on, where Sam Curran, Jacob Bethel bowled. Sam Curran picked up 4 wickets. Jacob Bethel, on a pitch where everyone went for 7 runs and over, I mean, he was absolutely brilliant. In 7 overs, he got 1 for 49 in that middle phase when Rohit, Virat, Ishan Kishan, all these guys were playing. So I think he bowled beautifully that phase. But for me, the main turning point in my head is in the first innings, India conceded 46 runs in the 48th and the 49th over, 23 runs in the 48th, 23 runs in the 49th. It just seemed like India has, during the last 5 overs especially, is not thinking, they're just going through the motion. Conceded 84 runs in those last 5 overs, because again, I maintain it. And I said that during the game was on, that 340, 350 would be still chaseable. India would be very much in the game. And those runs, extra runs, I thought in the last 5 overs especially, costed India the game to a great extent. And that innings of Joss Butler, I think that was, again, you can count that as a turning point. 41 not out of just 13 deliveries. Yeah, so yeah, few of those turning points during this game. Well, it is obviously painful, and especially how India has gone about in the last month or so. It has been painful. The white ball series that India has played in the last 10 games on this trip, last 10 games have managed to win only 1 game, the first ODI. Apart from that, one obviously because of rains didn't happen in the first T20, but lost the Ireland series, lost the T20 in England, and then the ODI. So painful, disappointing, and surprising, to be fair, as well. But then what came out of this series and this game and ODI, let's stick with ODI for the time being, is the fact that in the first 2 games, when the pitch had something for the bowlers, it was a tricky pitch to bat on, the batters struggled. On a flat pitch, which was the last ODI, the bowlers struggled. So that is something that India has to figure out. The management has to figure out how to go about on pitches which are different in nature, right? And to find the right combination. Because I don't think this game, India went in with the right combination. Kuldeep, again, going back to the drawing board and looking back at the last few years where India got a lot of success, you had wicket-taking bowlers in the middle. Varun Chakravarti played ODIs during that phase. Kuldeep was there. That is something we mentioned during the T20 as well. That middle phase, you need wicket-taking bowlers, irrespective if they're playing T20 or ODIs. And especially in this game, when India went in with 7 batters and not 8, I found it really quite baffling not to see Kuldeep in that playing. They had the option of Harsh Dubey, but you already have Aksar, who's a left-arm spinner, so you don't need 2 left-arm spinners. Would have easily gone with Kuldeep. That's something that India needs to figure out, because you still have some time, around, I guess, 20 odd games in the next 14 months before the World Cup. I think India need to try out a few combination. India needs to try out a few players, especially when I'm talking about that middle overs where wicket-taking bowlers. There aren't too many options that, again, I am aware of. But in the absence of Bumrah, there are. Gurnur is good. He's developing. Prince is also good. But I still think India needs some variety. It's too one-dimensional, especially this combination. Yeah, and I guess this was a bit of an eye-opener because I think all the success that India's got in white ball cricket in the last few years, I think we at times can take things for granted. And against a good England side, I think India needed that reality check that India got. Thank you for watching Super Over Decoded, powered by IDFC FIRST Bank.